News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So Biden's address from the Oval Office. Let's hear how he sounded. Did he make any mess-ups?
Ben Franklin was asked, as he emerged from the convention going on, whether the founders have given America a monarchy or republic. Franklin's response was, a republic, if you can keep it.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate that very much. And then he talked about something cherry. What?
And the truth, the sacred cause of this country is larger than any one of us. And those of us who cherish that cause cherish it so much.
I cherish that cause, don't you?
A cause of American democracy itself.
Democracy itself.
Must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy.
It's all about Trump. He goes on to say he's going to pass the baton to Kathleen Kamala. Why? You achieved so much more than any president in the entire history of our world in America. Why would you possibly hand the baton to Kathleen Kamala unless you are incapacitated, as the world and all of us knows? And all the Democrats know, but lied about it and kept the ruse up for years, including the media. Why would you surrender it if you weren't going to lose? Why would you surrender it because if your polls weren't bad? By the way, if your polls weren't bad, you were shoved out, which was a coup. They shoved the guy out. Nobody voted for Kathleen Kamala, and if he wasn't shoved out because of his polls, then he's mentally incapacitated, which we all know. Guess what the New York Post just said? They came out with this. Top Democrats threatened to forcibly remove Joe Biden from office unless he dropped out. They set him up to fail the Trump debate. But look at this. As calls for him to mounted to bow out, Biden insisted he would continue, but party bigwigs then threatened to invoke the 25th Amendment against him. Top Democrats did. Talk about a coup. Wow. So, and when the party machine comes to you and says to the cabinet, you need to do this or else, and when they go to Kathleen Kamala and say, you're going to do this or else, if they can throw out the sitting president, they certainly could make them do that. So they were going to do that to him. Look at this. This is your democracy. I mean, who's a threat to democracy now? Anyway, Joe talked about uniting. He said, we're going to do unity. I want more unity. We need unity by passing the baton. So unity is to take a man who has told you that 70 million Americans or 80 million Americans, however many of us voted for Trump last time, are a threat to democracy. All of us are a threat to democracy. He's going to pass that unity along to the Kathleen Kamala, who says the same thing, but is much, much, much more to the left. She literally is a socialist. She has openly called for abolishing ICE, has openly called for defunding police, and she supported it. She has openly called for canceling all our insurance and making it a single-payer universal health care, government-run health care. She lied about the Haitian illegals and said that they were whipped, reminding her of her of slaves. Never took that back. There's so much. She co-sponsored the Green New Deal. She voted for it. She wanted to change. She wants to cancel the amount of meat we can eat. She wants to ban plastic straws. She wants to ban fracking and fossil fuels. So this is who she is. Joe Biden says that's unity. What do you think about that? You think that's unity? Did he unite you? Did you get excited? Did he move you at all? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. Line's wide open. I want your thoughts right now. What were your thoughts on Biden's address tonight? Since Biden's stepping down in 6 months, do you think he's able to serve if he's stepping down in 6 months? If he's leaving in 6 months and it's not because of the polling and it's because he's mentally incapacitated, he's been pushed out because of his mental incapacity, don't you think he can't serve? I mean, do you think he can serve for the next 6 months? Do you trust him to serve? And who do you think is really running this country? I told you this last night. I came up with this thought last night that I shared with you throughout the night. I want to say it again. Since Joe Biden, when he leaves in 6 months, the same people running his campaign and running his office are staying in, according to one of the reports I read yesterday from one of the left-leaning publications, Politico or Axios, one of those ones. Since the entire team is being left in and Kamala's coming in, who's really running this country? Since you're going to have the same people with Biden and the same people with Kamala, we all know Biden's an empty husk. Who is really running this country? I'd love for you to tell me who you think is running this country. And do you want the 25th Amendment to be enacted to remove him? Because he literally cannot lead our country. He can't protect us from war. He can't protect us from China invading Taiwan. He can't protect Israel from being destroyed by Iran. He can't protect Ukraine from being invaded by Russia. He claims that one of the most laughable things too. He said there were no wars in my presidency. Really, the world's on fire, sir. Do you not know that? Are they not telling you that? Who's running the country? Chime in right now. Lines wide open. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Want your opinion on this? 800-288-9227. The back and forth on this was fantastic today. Let me play some of that. We have KJP and Peter Doocy today going back and forth with this constitutional crisis.
In his letter, he talked about the country, he talked about the party, he talked about the moment that we're in right now. It is not about his health. We don't see ourselves as a lame duck president at all. In this period of time, this is a president that has been incredibly successful, and he's going to do everything that he can to continue to fight for the American people. I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, you guys haven't had a press briefing since President Biden dropped out of the race. Who ordered White House officials to cover up a declining president?
It is not a cover-up. I know that is the narrative that you all want. It is not.
It is a cover-up, isn't it? The man was barely able to read a teleprompter speech, which he gave. How long was that? About 10 minutes, maybe? I don't know. I didn't time this one. But he was not able to read without many errors because he's still not he was at his Sunday best today, but he still was not able to deliver it while reading a script. I don't think any one of us could see an error in there, but 2, 3, 4, like always, he simply can't pronounce words, can't say certain things, even though he's practiced it ad infinitum in the scripts right in front of him. So these are the questions I want you to answer. By the way, coming up next, you're going to hear some great audio. You're going to hear different Republicans alleging this is a complete cover-up, and I do believe it is a cover-up. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. What were your thoughts on Biden's address tonight? Has he brought you, do you think he's brought this country together? Has he convinced you that he's doing just fine? Do you trust him? Do you think he's going to is he okay to run the country for the next 6 months? Who's really running the country, since it's the same people running this administration beneath Joe that are going to stay on board and run Kamala's administration? And do you want the 25th Amendment to be enacted? I do, if he won't leave, because he's trying to have some semblance of dignity, but he's got to go. He's really got to go. Now, I think the Republicans pushing this too far, it could hurt us, I think. I don't know if you want us to hit hard on that and keep going, but here's the problem. The more we do this, since he's already leaving, the more that we could look bad because the guy is already leaving and people are feeling sorry for him because he was shoved out. I think the way to go with this, and I'd love your thoughts on this too, I think the way to go with this would be to attack the Democrats for a cover-up, to attack Kamala for a cover-up. What did you know and when did you know it? How could you have lunch with him every week for 3.5 years and not notice decline and tell us within a few couple weeks ago that he was fine, he's great, he's running laps around you in his sleep? 800-288-WBAP is our number. You'll hear that montage of some Republicans just ripping the crap out of the saying it's a cover-up, and I agree. All right, that's next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? Here's my answer. I am running, and we're going to win. I'm not going to change that. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
Wait a minute, that's 12 days. That's 12 days ago from that to that. What happened?
She's worked with him. She's been, to my understanding, with him daily, or at least a couple of days a week. Why hasn't this been brought to attention if she's willing to hide that type of information once she's in office? Now what's she willing to hide for herself? Why are you now being okay with exposing Biden's health concerns? Is it because it benefits you?
Knowing the things that they've been hiding in plain sight from the American public, I cannot find it in myself to vote for a Democrat.
Interesting, huh? Okay, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Biden's address tonight? Since Biden's stepping down in 6 months, don't you think he maybe isn't able to serve? And why do you think... who do you think, I should say, is really running this country? And do you want the 25th Amendment to be enacted? I do, but we have to be careful about what we do. Otherwise, we're going to get our butts handed to us for the elections in November. How we play that, beating up an old man who everybody feels sorry for now that he's been thrown out, is not the way to do it. I think attacking the Democrats, like you just heard there, is the way to do it. They covered it up. They lied. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Let's go to Tyler in Godley. Tyler, you are on WBAP.
Hey, how's it going, Chris?
Good, how are you?
Hey, I think I'm doing well, thank you. I think the biggest issue I have is I thought the speech was well done, but I think he's just AI. He's either dead, he's had a stroke. I think this is all just more manipulation of what is the truth. Even the Fox radio show on this 8:20 a.m. Radio host afterwards are saying, "Oh, Biden shouldn't be 25th Amendment." He should. He's our acting executive person.
He has no idea what he's doing.
I mean, he's a military general in all intents and purposes.
Yes.
People forget that.
Yes.
I mean, he has the nuclear button, the nuclear codes at his fingertips. Someone does at least. Maybe
so who do you, who do you
Jill
think
Biden
is really running this country? Nurse Jill is, yeah. Who do you think is really running this country then, since the same people running now are going to be the ones running with Kamala?
You know, I think the American people don't know them. It's these donors. I think whoever the Democrat Party is being paid by, I mean, that's who's going to be running our country if the Democrats win. And I don't think the Republicans are that much better.
I don't think they're much better either, but in this case, one has thrown somebody out who was elected, and the other one has not. Appreciate your call, Tyler. Tom in Frisco, WBAP.
Hey, Chris, I'll tell you, he definitely needs to be ousted via the 25th Amendment because I was a corpsman in the Navy. I spent my career in the medical industry and worked for neurosurgical companies. And you mentioned earlier about him saying cherry. I cherry the thought,
yes,
et cetera.
He cherries the thought.
Well, that is definitely a sign of a stroke. Now, I'm sure you probably know, or at least have maybe heard of the fact that in Vegas,
yes, I've talked about it. I've talked about it 2 nights in a row. Vegas police, 6 different Vegas Metro police reported and confirmed that they rushed him out. They were going to send him to the hospital. It went over the radio airways for EMTs and police. There's also a local NBC affiliate there that reported nonchalantly yesterday that he had some kind of a medical emergency and they were going to take him to the hospital there, the big hospital. And that is also why you heard reports on the hour, every hour from CNN. Daily Mail also reported the plane shook unlike ever before because they flew back so fast. They were saying that the day that it happened on Fox. I was like, why is that so important? What happened? Now we know there was a medical emergency. I think he had a small stroke. I think you're right.
Right. And that's why they had to rush him back. It was a small enough stroke that he was able to walk up the steps, but you notice how gingerly he did it going to the airplane. And so this has just been one cover-up after another with this Democratic Party. And I hope that Congress will put together some kind of investigation into exactly what the issue was. It definitely wasn't COVID. And
No.
so, I hope Congress will look into it and find out, because if he's had a stroke, if he is still just Joe Biden mentally impaired, whatever, we need to get him out of the presidency, because
He can't be the president. He's not capable, and I agree.
exactly.
Now, the Democrats need to do the 25th Amendment. They literally threatened him with it, according to New York Post, which is amazing, to get him out. Republicans can't be the ones trying to initiate that or calling for that, because they're going to be beating an old man up publicly. I think they need to blame all the Democrats and do an investigation of them, including Kamala.
Yeah, and again, just investigate what actually happened and expose it to the U.S. so
Right.
that we at least know.
And we need to be very careful how this plays out. There's so many times Republicans make a big deal out of something that they think is helping them, and it's literally hurting us with our political chances of winning. That's the key to me. Let's go to Michael in Colleen. Michael, welcome to WBAP.
You think the 25th Amendment exists for a reason? It's just as valid as all the rest of the amendments.
Yes,
It's used.
you're right.
The funny part about, especially all these wannabe intellectuals, everybody loves Darwin until it applies to them.
Yes. Say that again. You broke up a little bit. I like that saying. It's very smart.
Like everybody, especially intellectuals or wannabe intellectuals, say that they love Darwin until it applies to them.
Right. That's exactly right.
This half-stepping where he's kind of in charge, but Kamala is, going to be the president. I mean, this half and half out, it's not going to work. I'd say that anybody who wants to harm to us or as a country or our interests, they've got a 6-month plan, and they're going to do it right after he goes to bed or late in the afternoon or something. They're going to keep him up for 24, 36, 40 hours, and it's not going to benefit anybody.
He's not going to be the one handling the response to China invading Taiwan. I think it'd be very foolish of China to not invade before Trump takes over, quite possibly. He might lose too, though. We're going to get into that a little later. Actually, we'll get into that coming up next on her versus Trump. Polling is going up with her. We'll talk about that coming next. Thank you for your call, Michael. Let's see. We got time for Mike? No. Okay, Mike in Grand Prairie, you are next. We actually have 4 lines open for the first time of the show. So chime in right now. I want to hear from you. What were your thoughts on Biden's address tonight? I'll play a little more highlights of it. Since he's stepping down in 6 months, do you think he's able to serve until then? Should he be removed? I mean, the Democrats, according to the New York Post, were threatening the 25th Amendment to remove him, to get him out. And so all of a sudden now, that's bad to do. And who do you think is really running this country? Since the same people running Biden's campaign right now are going to be running Kamala. She already announced that. She did. The media did. So who's running the entire country right now? What entity or people are running this country? It's not her or him. And lastly, do you want that 25th Amendment to be enacted? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Next, White House Communications is shopping around their credibility, I should say, the shop. For the comp shop, their credibility is in question after Biden bows out. And in fact, it's being called a scandal by some in the press today at the press briefing for her, with her handling it. Do you think this was a scandal? I can't wait to ask you that question coming up next. And then Kamala, her polling goes up. What do you think is going to go down? Could she actually beat Trump? All that next. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border.
Crime rate's not at a 50-year low. That's the FBI. They only get reports from media. What the media doesn't report, they don't know. Also, in Chicago, I think New York and D.C., many of the homicides, a lot of the crime, not homicides, but a lot of the crimes have been reclassified, so they don't show up in the FBI's USAR reports, their crime reports. Totally false. And then this one.
Securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office. I've kept my commitment to appoint the first black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
Did you know he also talked about wanting to pack the Supreme Court? That's what Kamala's going to do, and that's why he's passing the torch to her too. But the border thing is absolutely false too. In fact, it was let's see, it was Reuters that made that lie up in a headline. Biden is now deporting more people than Trump. That's false. From the ICE data, from ICE themselves, the fiscal year 2018 to 2020, 709,000 deportations, 709,000, right? 709K. In the same time frame in Biden's presidency, 273K. So which one do you want? 709,000 deportations or 273? You take your pick. I want the larger number. That's Trump. Lie. But that's okay, Joe. The media will hump your leg and pretend like everything's great because you stepped aside. You did what they wanted you to do because they want to beat Trump at all costs. By the way, you want to know about Joe Biden's fecklessness? Look at this. And I'm holding this up for my Chris Kroc Show Facebook viewers. I'm on my Facebook Live with you at Chris Kroc Show. That's at Chris Kroc Show, CHRISKROK. Look at this headline. Fighter jets scrambled to intercept Russian and Chinese bomber. United States fighter jets had to scramble and intercept Russian and Chinese bombers right before Joe Biden's speech tonight, because they know they can push the old man over. They know he can't get up without help from the Secret Service. And 3 tries, watch the video again. It's 3 different tries quickly. And he won't do a damn thing, like, excuse my language, with the hot air balloon over here. Same thing. Look at this. NORAD scrambled fighter jets to intercept 2 pairs of Russian and Chinese bombers ahead of Biden's anticipated Oval Office address, less than an hour before Biden expected to hit the airwaves. Let me continue on with the report from Fox News. In a press release, the agency confirmed that they detected, tracked, and intercepted the two planes. The report came less than an hour before Biden gave a speech. The Russian and PRC aircraft remained in international airspace, did not enter American or Canadian sovereign space. This is Russian and PRC activity in Alaska. ADIZ is not seen as a threat, and nor will continue to monitor and activity near North America and meet presence with presence. It has not yet been determined if this is related to Biden's address. I think it is, don't you? Hey, old man. They walk up to him with the pinky, dink, and he falls over like a cockroach. A wounded cockroach with half of its legs gone. And being crippled from being sprayed with Raid, which sucks compared to the good stuff that I have from my guy. I told you I have a guy. Now, what were your thoughts on Biden's address tonight? Since Biden's stepping down in 6 months, do you think he's even able to serve the next 6 months? I don't. And who do you think's really run the country, since the same people running Biden's campaign are going to be running Kamala's campaign? It's all the same people. I think somebody was right when they said a little earlier, the billionaires who donate all this money, save one billionaire guy came on, Neil Cavuto, today and yesterday, Laura Ingham, and said, I'm not giving, I was going to give another $1 million. I'm not giving it to her because Kamala's a horrible candidate and I don't like the way they shoved Joe out. But anyway, those people are running the country, and Hollywood too. George Clooney started the whole thing. And who do you think's really running the country? And do you want the 25th Amendment to be enacted? New York Post reporting that, in fact, Democrats threatened the 25th Amendment if Joe didn't get out. Look at that! All of a sudden, overnight, between Saturday and Sunday, I love what the Fox News senior political analyst Brit Hume. He's semi-retired. I love Brit Hume on many things, not everything, but a lot of things. And Brit said that somehow magically, based on what Joe Biden said tonight, somehow magically he went to bed Saturday night, firm running the president, and somewhere overnight magically he realized that it's time to pass the baton between Sunday at 8 o'clock bedtime, nappy poo, to his 8 a.m. awakening. Somewhere around there, he like, oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna pass the baton. Even though I went to bed saying I'm firmly standing in this thing. Isn't that amazing? It's a miracle. Okay, 800-288-9227 is our number, 800-288-WBAP. And do you believe this is a scandal? White House communications shops credibility questions after Biden bows out. Scandal is what it's being called by some in the press, and I agree, this is a scandal, don't you think? It sure is. This man's not competent. 800-288-WBAP. Chime in right now. 3 lines open, 800-288-9227. And let's go to Mike in Grand Prairie. Mike, what do you got, WBAP?
Well, I know who's running the White House, and it's Barack Obama. There's a reason why he didn't sign on for Kamala Harris. because he still has designs on the White House with his wife. I think that people gonna be in for a big shot come Chicago. I think that Kamala, they gonna give her the boot. They just getting things set up and get this whole deal going. But like I said, it's very suspicious that Barack Obama has not signed on to Kamala.
Can I add something on that real fast before you get to the next point? Obama, this is from the New York Post today. This is crazy. They're doing a lot of scoops today. Obama does not believe Kathleen Kamala Harris can beat Trump. That's a direct quote in the New York Post, which is why he has not endorsed her. His very close sources to former President Hussein Obama. He hasn't endorsed Kamala because he doesn't think she can beat Trump. Following the resignation, immediate endorsement of Vice President didn't happen. Of course, his did, but not his. Obama's very upset because he knows she can't win, Biden family source told the Post. Obama knows she's just incompetent. The border czar who never visited the border, saying that all illegals should have health insurance. She cannot navigate the landmines that are ahead of her. Now, let me tell you something else. Here's another one that one of the sources said, wait until the debate. She can't debate. Actually, I think she can, from what I remember. Remember she called Joe a racist and stuff? I didn't see her fall apart in that one, from what I can recall. I could be wrong, but I remember that. She was effective at making him look horrible, even though it was wrong how she treated him and what she did. Wait until the debate. She can't debate. She's going to put her foot in her mouth about Israel, Palestine, Ukraine. She will on that. She's going to say something really stupid. Obama knew this was going to happen. Joe knew this was going to happen. Now she's going to have to answer real questions. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Like I said, Barack Obama, even though I hate the guy, he's a smart man. They let Joe Biden dig his own grave. They knew that Joe Biden couldn't do that debate with Trump, but he insisted on doing it, and he went out and embarrassed himself.
Let me tell you something, though.
That's exactly what they wanted to do, so they could get rid of it.
Mrs. Hussein Obama is not going to run. She hates it with a disease, like a passion, like a sick disease, a curse. Being in there, it's like living a nightmare every day of your life, and she'd have to show up for all this that she does not like. So I strongly disagree with that.
If it's not her, it could be Hillary Clinton. But there's no way to hell Barack Obama, like I said, he's a smart man.
Yes.
There's no way in hell that Kamala is going to be the president. She's not qualified to begin with. And like I said before, I think that you come on, Chris. You already know that they're not going to. There's no way in hell that the Democrats, unless Barack Obama and Nancy sign on to it, they're not going to sign the 25th Amendment to get Joe Biden out of the White House.
Let me tell you something.
They're not going to do that.
Obama can't, but the others can't. Okay, listen. Here's the other thing. DNC delegates, I strongly disagree that Kathleen Kamala is not going to be the candidate. She will, because DNC delegates can start voting for candidates August 1st, and she's already secured, according to fake news CNN, more than the amount she needs to get the candidacy. And they're going to early vote August 1. It'll be certified 6 days later, August 7th. There's no way somebody else can be thrown in when they start voting in 8 days.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me say this one last thing, Chris, before I hang out with you. I disagree with what you said at the beginning. I think that Joe Biden should be allowed to stay on in the White House so he can continue to embarrass himself and continue to do the things that he's doing bad things and, running the U.S. down the drain.
Because it's Kamala. It reflects.
People, listen, Chris, because people see Joe Biden as Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Everything Joe Biden does, it's going to reflect on her.
Yes.
So the worse he does, the worse it's going to be for Kamala to get in the White House. So I say leave him in and let him continue destroying the U.S. And then it'll make Kamala look bad, and these idiot Democrats won't vote for her.
Okay, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Listen to this. I just heard Dana Perino say that she thinks that Obama is intentionally allowing Kamala to be the candidate. No. He's letting Kamala be the candidate out of, was it Kamala or I think it might be Joe, one of the two, out of spite, like let him burn out and kill not kill themselves, but politically kill themselves. I think it was Kamala. Let her go in there and burn out and destroy. Let her do that because he doesn't like her either. Reportedly, I got to roll.
Nobody likes Kamala.
Right.
And let me say this one last thing.
Unless they're having relations with her. She's known for doing that to get her way up to the top. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of people think that Biden and Obama have a good relationship, but they hate each other. There is no love lost between those two because of some of the comments that Obama has made about him in the past. So Biden doesn't like Obama, and Obama doesn't like Biden. So that's the reason why they let him do that debate and completely embarrass himself so he could get the hell out of the race.
Appreciate your call, Mike. You're always awesome. Thank you, brother. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Kamala's polling goes up over Trump. Internal Trump polling warning that these numbers are going to go up more, and guess how long they're going to stay for, according to the inside letter released by the Trump campaign. It's not good. Next.
You're very different in the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all.
Yeah, she is insanely liberal. It's amazing, actually. She supports banning red meat, or at least severely cutting it back out of our diets, not only regulating what we eat, but also our gas stove, taking them away while she has a gas stove. I have a new car that I've been using as a rental for a week or so. I just returned it today, and it's amazing. I told my wife this. It's an amazing Audi, and it's really fast. And trust me, I had a lot of fun. But listen. When you're at a stoplight, this expensive Audi, it literally stops producing the cold air, even though it's a 2024 with 13,000 miles on it. And then I stopped today after driving for at least 5-10 minutes when it's cold, obviously, on a brand new car. And I was at the gas station to refill it and return it to the rental car company, and it went hot, and it stayed hot for the next 5 minutes. I mean, it was like, that's a brand new, so that's the kind of crap she's putting on us. And that woman, with all of her money, before she ran for vice president, that woman will never suffer like we will for the crap she's foisting on our lives. Also, banning fracking. Also, the new Green Deal. She co-sponsored a deal with that with Bernie Sanders. She is the most radical in the Senate, and I have it on my Twitter feed, according to GovTrack, which is a nonpartisan group that is the official, source for who is. And she was the most. She beat Biden. She beat what's his name? Bernie. She was more liberal than Bernie Sanders, and. She wants to abolish ICE. She wants to defund the police. She said that. It was her stance officially, as reported by the media at the time. She supports, free health care for illegals. Free health care for illegals. She said it. She said no illegal should ever have to pay for health care. Nobody should. I mean, you literally don't know what's going to hit you on this. The polls, though, are going up for her, and unfortunately, the Trump campaign released a letter internally that I think they meant to leak out that says that literally the polling is going to show her up, and she's going to stay up till August at least. That's alarming. 2, 3, 4 weeks. That's bad. That's really bad. So do you think this here's my question for you. Is this a sugar high? Where it's because I told you that last night. This is a sugar high. It's the sweet home honeymoon period for 48 hours, 72 hours. They got rid of Joe. They have somebody who's young, but the problem is she's insanely liberal, as liberal as it gets, and she is terrible at leading. And in interviews too, like the border thing. Remember when Lester Holt asked her? She says, "You haven't been to the border. I've been to the border. You haven't been to the border." Well, I haven't been to Europe either. I can play it for you. I got it in my repertoire. So is this a sugar high, or do we have a real threat, more so than Biden? Is Kamala a sugar high with the polling right now, or do we have a real threat more so than Biden? And why do you think Trump's pollster is saying Kamala's numbers are going up and will stay up for a while? Are they trying to warn people to say, guys, we really need to do something? 4-alarm fire here, and we're screwed already? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. CBS News, I just played it. You're considered the most liberal United States senator. Somebody said it was Mike Pence. In other words, it's BS. Actually, GovTrack, nonpartisan. You're the most liberal. And then she had a blank stare. She said nothing after that, but she had a laugh. Her cackle. This is, and she's looking at it. If she gets Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who is a Jewish Democrat, she could bring back the Jewish vote that has been disgusted by the way, those people burning flags and beating cops and such today outside while Bibi Netanyahu gave his address to Congress, those are her voters. Those are Kamala voters. They want her because she is not a friend of the Jew at all. She's a friend of the terrorist Hamas. I'll share some of the highlights from the Trump campaign's internal memo. But first, let's go to Aaron in Plano. Aaron, WBAP, hi.
Hi, Chris. Love the show. Anyhow, I think that the media has been lying to us all along about Biden, and now they've got amnesia about the whole affair of the last week. I think they're just going to start push-pulling, hyping, so that they can try to keep it within the margin of error so that they can print thousands of ballots and maybe try and juice the election again.
We have to win by enough where they can't cheat, and that's not too hard to do. We can't win by 40,000 or 60,000. We got to win by, 50 to 100,000 in each state.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trump was up 450,000 in Michigan on election night. Look what they did there, you know?
Yep. Well, the thing is, we cannot, but we cannot, under any circumstances, lose by or win by an amount that's too narrow of a margin to do any shenanigans. Aaron, I appreciate your. Do you feel threatened by Kamala?
I just don't like the machine in back of her. It's just.
But do you feel threatened by her for Trump to possibly beating Trump?
I don't know. I think, they revamped the RNC and they've got lawyers. I just hope that they're as tenacious as the DNC lawyers,
Yep. I appreciate your call, my friend. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Kyle and McKinney, you are coming up next. Also, the media is now covering it up and lying, saying Kamala was never the border czar. Oh, but she was. The same outlet today, the liberal outlet, telling us she was never the border czar. I'm going to read to you what they said when she was the border czar, that she is the border czar. Next.